We're super excited to represent Harvard in the Ivy League. This team has had a tremendous season. They're really been peaking at the right time and ready to go, and we're ready to have our opening game tournament.
Yeah, just for either of you, I'm sure it's been probably a crazy week for y'all, going from winning the Ivy, then seeing your name on the selection show, and now being here. Will you just walk me through what the past week has been like?
Yeah, so we came off of the Ivy League tournament. We won over Princeton the last day. Had the selection show on Sunday, one day later, and then had to gear up, get ready for practices, and travel here on Tuesday. Practice travel Wednesday. Sorry, chaotic past couple of days. And then we had practice today, getting ready for tomorrow for our game.
And then Megan, being a senior, just what is this opportunity getting to play on the stage like this?
It means a lot. My class was able to come and play at Arizona our freshman year in 2019. So it means a lot for us to be back and have this opportunity again, and for the rest of our team to experience it.
Yeah, so now you both have a chance to be on the field and in the stadium. They're just thoughts on Bogle Park.
It's really nice, honestly. I think we're trying not to make the moment too big, so I think we're trying to approach it with any other stadium. That's obviously going to be different tomorrow when we get up there. But I think we're all really excited just to some here. We missed out on the opportunity last year, so it feels right that we're back there again. If we have a question from Zoom, Eric will or something.
For both players, describe for the audience that's going to see your team play for the first time perhaps this weekend, describe what Harvard softball is.
I think for me, like, Harvard softball is a lot of fun and a big family. So I think you can expect to see a lot of smiles, again, a lot of soaking in the moment. I think we have got, our expectations set on what we want to do. So I think just we're gonna have fun and play for softball for sure. Yeah, second everything that Anna said. We play our best softball when we're having fun and enjoying being together. And we've been working so hard this whole year, and so this weekend is just going to be kind of that coming to fruition, us being able to have the opportunity on a big stage like this.
Describe what's it like playing for Coach Allard.
Coach Allard's the best. One of my favorite quotes that Coach always says, "It's not my job to make your life easier, it's my job to make your life better." And every day in practice, she pushes us to make our lives better. And she taught me so much beyond the field, just like as a person. And so playing for her has been a great opportunity. I've enjoyed it the past 5 years. And we're gonna miss it next year, but I know the team's gonna be in great hands. Excited to see what the program goes. I think if you talk to anybody on our team, like, they'll rave about Coach. We've been given this awesome opportunity to go to great school because of her. And Megan always says too, like, we'll run through a brick wall for everyone on our team. So I think we all have a lot of respect for her, and I think that shows. But yeah, it's been Thank you.
How would you compare your team to play in an atmosphere like here in Bogle, stepping into the Ivy League game?
I think two things. One, we're going to see faster. So we got to work and find out where we were going. The next day we had practice. We had hitting practice just to really start on machines, cranking up the speed, getting their hands quicker. We have several kids who have really good bat speed, and they actually struggle in Ivy League play when we're facing some slower pitching. So there we're refreshed to say, yeah, crank up the machines, coach. So I think that's one big part of it. I think the second is respecting, the level that Arizona plays that day in and day out in the SEC, respecting their bats, respecting their stats, respecting what they do. So, Arkansas is so strong offensively. We know that. So I think to be prepared with space. So, right, we had to make the field bigger. We got to cover more ground. We got to hit, balls are going to be hit higher. They're going to be hit deeper in our practice. That's what we covered today. That's what we covered before as well. So I think the stadium atmosphere as well, to answer specifically that question, is that, I told them when we ended the workout today, see all these stands? You're gonna have 10% here. 90% is gonna be rooting for them. So right now it's empty, it's quiet. You've got to be ready for a lot of energy, a lot of, sound. You're not gonna be able to hear each other. You got to really focus on each other on the field. So I think those are the things that we don't play with every single weekend. Good question.
Jenny, I was reading about your NCAA induction, so first of all, congrats on that.
Thank you.
But you've been doing this for a long time, so I was just curious, what do you think about the growth of softball and where it's at now? Just over the years you've been doing this.
Sure. I mean, our first regional we came to, I started at Harvard with spring of '95. Our first regional was in '98. And it was truly a regional at that time where every region hosted. And our first regional was at UMass campus. And they brought in Oklahoma. That was the team that was shipped in. And it was truly a regional with Boston College, UMass, Harvard. And then they brought in Arizona out of region to play in that regional. And so I've seen the bracket expand to 64 teams. I've seen the development, the growth with even just when I started, you didn't have as many, programs down south, the development, the growth overall of the sport and how it's blossomed. But I think also too, we changed the ball in '92 when I was coaching at Iowa. I played with a white ball, in, the late '80s, and then we changed the ball and then that technology and just the growth of the sport, the athleticism of the athletes. I think that the competitiveness of every single conference. I was also happened to be fortunate to be on the NCAA selection team. So I understand how this whole process works and to be able to honor, 32 teams that represent the best of each conference and then 32 teams that have shown that they're the best in the country to get into the tournament. So it's just a great atmosphere. I think that it's been amazing how it's grown on television and the popularity as a television sport. So that's been great to see, but it's just, you can't say enough about just the trajectory and the growth.
And then you touched on Arkansas a little bit, but of course, playing the host school in itself poses some challenges. But what are some specific things about Arkansas, maybe from watching some of their film that you've noticed that stand out?
They can swing, they can swing. I heard there's this coach Matt talk at the NCAA convention and talking about stats and he's just like amazing in what he does with data and what they use in terms of lineup and different things. But obviously they got speed at the top. And we haven't seen that level of speed in the Ivy League. We have the fastest kick league, so we haven't played against that. I said, don't let the ball drop. If the ball bounces once, she's going to be safe. So we know what we're going to face. We know the power. We know where we got to put the ball. It's a matter of just coming out and executing at our best. When we played in 19, as Megan said, that there's 10 seniors. I've got 6 who took a leave of absence because we didn't play in 21. Harvard de-densified the campus and 6 kids take the year off. So we don't allow graduate students to play on our teams in the Ivy League. So they took a year off. They're not truly 5 years that they played on. In 2020, we all know we got shut down. The season ended. In 21, Harvard didn't have enough kids on campus, and the Ivy League made the decision we wouldn't play in a maybe season. So that gave them another year back to play. So they took the year off. They worked. They got work experience. They did amazing things. And then now they're back, and this is their 5th year for those 6. And so they remember 2019. When we went to 2019, excuse me, I think it's earlier, went to Arizona. Arizona was the 8th seed in the country. They led the country in home runs. And we had simple goals. Keep the ball in the ballpark. We didn't want them to hit a home run. We wanted to score against them. And we wanted to contain them and play 7 innings. We knew we're outmatched. We totally understand what we're up against. And so we go to Arizona, and in the top of the first, one of our DP hits a home run. Aaron Lockhart hits a home run. We're up on Arizona 1-0. And I was like, take a picture of the scoreboard. This isn't going to last long. And then we held them 1-0 for like 4.5 innings. They didn't hit a home run off of us. Colorado State and Auburn were also at the regional. They hit home runs off of their staff, but our staff kept it down. And they won 4-1. So we achieved a lot of our goals. Like you have to, for us, really come in here with expectations and some very good process. So we know what we're up against. We know how hard they swing. And you got to be careful. I mean, you come in with a lot of respect for who our opponent is. And they're on their home turf. And they're hosting the regional. And they've been here before last year, so, you know, they're back in this, you know, so, you know, we haven't been in the regional since 19. And 20, nobody went to a regional. In 21, we didn't have a season. Excuse me, in 20, we didn't have a season. 21, we didn't have a season. 22, we lost out to Princeton. Princeton came and they were here, so now we reversed. We're happy to be here. We understand what we're up against. We also have our goals that we're trying to control.
Coach Eric Lopez in the circle. Talk about what was the turning point for your team this year? Because you were in a battle with Princeton throughout the year at the top of the standings. What was the turning point you think for your team that got you where you are today?
I think there's a good question. There was two things that happened. First is that the second weekend of conference, we lost 2 games by 1 run to down. That the team really didn't expect to have happen, didn't play their best. We didn't problem solve in the game. We made some mistakes that were costly and we didn't know how to make up for them. And I think that lit a fire under them because it was a wake up call for us. And I think that was a pivotal moment to kind of start to get back in track. The second pivotal moment, I think that really would be, you know, answer specifically about being neck and neck with Princeton is for the Yale series. We had Yale, we had Princeton, and we had Columbia left. We had 9 games left. And we had a team meeting. And I said to them and was very frank, because, you know, you always as a coach want the fine line of not putting too much pressure on, focusing on the process, all of it. And I said, okay, we have 3 weekends left. We have Yale at home, we have Princeton on the road, and we have Columbia. You know, what do we need to do this week, specifically against State? And they threw out process. Well, we need to score first. We need to, and one of our captains preached it says, we need to win. And I said, you're right. We need to win all 3 games, and we need to go down to Princeton, and we need to win 2 out of 3, and then we need to face Columbia, and we need to win all 3 games. I said, for you to control your Ivy League fate of being a champion, this is what you have. So they really focused on that against Yale, and that was a turning point where we had 2 close games, and they stayed with their process. They battled tough. It wasn't like when Yale came out and scored against us, we got rattled, which is what happened against Cornell. So we were tougher mentally heading into the stretch. And I think that's what helped us. Then we went down to Princeton, but we didn't play our best. We didn't play our best, and we lost 2 of them. And we made some mistakes in the circle that hurt us. And then we brought it back from the Columbia and said, okay, we know we've got a sweep, and we got to hope that Princeton drops again. But all we could control was taking care of Columbia, which is what we went to work and what we did. And then we won all 3 against Columbia, and Princeton dropped 1 to Dartmouth, and then you were polite. And then we started to play our best, I think, softball those last 9 into the Ivy tournament, for sure. And I talked to them about getting high. That you guys have all the pieces, but you haven't got high. You need to get high. You need to fire on all cylinders. You need to feed off of each other. And they focused on those things. And when we got to the tournament, you really could sense a lot of fire in the team that they felt was playing on. Thank you.